years ago, I reviewed Scary Godmother's Halloween Spooktacular that was released July 18th, 2003. And it was different. Return of Horror was definitely a very different series, as I was looking at everything that is related to Halloween and horror and, anything that's scary. So, it was a different time back then. And now, it's time for me to review this and the sequel, Revenge of Jimmy, which was released October 7th, 2005, nearly 2 years after the original came out. There's not much I can say about these other than they're just little kid shows like all the rest. All 24 that I have reviewed already, including the near 6 that we're still dealing with, are just like all the rest. They're just little kid shows, little pieces of eye candy for your kids so they can look at their trick-or-treat bag, and while you are probably like on the couch or on the bed watching some other stuff, maybe a horror movie here and there. Scary Godmother's a very different breed of a movie because it was a DVD release and it was only straight to TV, and then it was never seen again until cult followings came up and they started putting it on YouTube. Now, I have nothing against it other than the fact its animation was terrible. I literally stated that. The animation was bad. I mean, it's bad. Especially when we're talking 2023. This is literally decades after these movies came out, and they're pretty bad. But, for little kids, they get the job done of entertaining them. While Scary Godmother, I've already talked about the review, Revenge of Jimmy was definitely way different. But I'll keep it as brief as possible. So a bunch of kids go trick-or-treating, and basically one of them brings their little sister into a haunted house and see if she actually gets scared or not. Of course she does, and a scary godmother appears and brings her to, her house for a nice Halloween party with some couple friends, like some vampires, werewolf, a skeleton in the closet, a monster under the bed, and very entertaining stuff. Of course, she wants payback for every kid, so, she basically gets payback, which is really nice, but she gets payback in, the funniest way possible. For animation-wise, it's still very low budget, if I can tell you, very low budget. But the sequel, Revenge of Jimmy, was a very different story, as, Jimmy, the kid that actually had that devil costume, wants revenge, and what does he do? He tries to not make it Halloween anymore. That is pretty sadistic, especially for a 2005 DVD release sequel. Again, this is the only sequel. This is the second to last sequel. This was the last sequel. This was the only sequel of Scary Godmother. It was also based off of a book similar to Coraline and the Halloween Tree, but I would say probably less popular. It was just shocking for me to see Revenge of Jimmy because this sequel was actually kind of fun as well, a little bit. I laughed a little bit a couple times, but it was nothing interesting. I mean, I'm trying to be like the child in me, 3-year-old to 5-year-old me, because I was 3 and 5 when these came out. And I just couldn't get the feel of it, I couldn't get the feel of what they were supposed to be. I know that some people would enjoy these still to this date, and people still talk about them as well. There were other reviews, and there were other people talking about it. It got attention, and it still gets attention today because of people like me who keep reviewing this stuff. But it's definitely a very fun watch, and it gets the job done. But tomorrow, oh boy, I'm going back to R.L. Stine, and this time, let's just hope I survive the Nightmare Room. I'll see you tomorrow.
Harry?
Yes, Max?
Look deeply into my eyes.
Okay. Looking.
Now, cease your chattering and sleep.
Sleep? On an empty stomach? But I...